Thank you, Melly, for that fantastic update via all the social media. She's even talking to us now. I'm like, Melly, no. We've got tanks. Not time for Facebook. Calm down, Melly. She gets
She's
into
getting
it.
scared by the storm, I think.
She is. There is a
Easily frightened.
massive storm raging on in Cologne right now. If you aren't from where we are in the studio, basically, or where Magus lives, if you want to go and stalk him out, there is an insane storm going on outside, so hopefully all is good.
Not as much of a storm as going to be in this game, though.
Oh, damn. All right, we are getting ready for the last game, and as Ollie said, there's going to be a storm brewing for this one. The Leprechauns up against Kazna crew here, and well, it's all to do. The first game we watched, Lucky Karaki just did not make the impact we expected against EPS. In the second game, TCM just held on and reigned supreme, but this time around, I think we're going to get some real action going. What are your predictions towards this one?
I think I said before the break, I think Kazna crew have the experience on their side. Drooling Leprechauns have the unpredictability of that team, being so new and so skilled and so just generally well positioned in the league. I think a very, very unexpected result. Dark horses alongside Lucky Karaki, no doubt. But Kazna crew, as I said before, they have that experience.
Yeah, they certainly do. So we'll see how that comes into effect. And I'm very much looking forward to these two head-to-head because I think they're actually getting themselves near on ready. We can start discussing the first map, Prokhorovka, and who's going to be the big standout player on that map from these two lineups?
For Drooling Leprechauns, impressed with Kirex. Very, very impressed. He's actually sitting right at the top of that table in Hall of Fame. Extremely, extremely good player. Love him in that 50-100. He's actually going to be playing the MX-3090 in this first map, Prokhorovka. And for Kazna crew, of course, you have to say Elian, top player there. But, you know, you got the likes of Crooks and Hyber just beside him.
Yeah, they are some brilliant players. Your prediction overall?
Kazna crew. On overall Kazna crew, but on Prokhorovka, not being so impressed with Kazna crew, I think Drooling Leprechauns could take the first map.
I think I'm going to go with Kazna on this one as well. I look at the Leprechauns and I wasn't even sold on their play. Wow. Terrible puns are being made. But hopefully they've got something at the end of the rainbow waiting for them, the Leprechauns, because I think Kazna crew overall will claim this one. I think they look a lot stronger as a team. But we'll find out, because the first map coming up will be Prokhorovka. So, welcome into the first map. It's going to be Prokhorovka, and in the north, it's Kazna crew in that lovely blue color, and in the south, it's the Leprechauns in red. So, take us through what we're going to be expecting to see from the very start here.
Drooling Leprechauns not going for the middle. Basically, you have two options from the south. The middle push, or over towards the right, they're going for the latter, whilst the Kazna crew are going to be heading up towards the middle. A little bit towards the left side, they've got a T-32, of course, so the hull down is the aim of the game, is the name of the game for that team. A couple of tanks heading over towards the left side. Crux, Hyber in the MX, in the WZ-132 even, and the T-69. So not a tank we've actually seen on Prokhorovka for a very long time. It was a staple at some point, but both teams picking that one up.
Yeah, interesting choices, and Hyber getting to a very unique position very early on. And do you think this is a counter to that village play at all?
Could be. It certainly could be. They need to have a fast tank to get into a good position. It's got the reload for the initial damage if it does come, but it also has that consistent damage you need from a sniping tank, which is exactly what Hyber's going to be playing. Message also, you can see on the side of Drooling Leprechauns, is going to be fulfilling a similar role. Basically an overview, basically a sniper.
I certainly look forward to seeing how these two go into effect. Message has been doing well, but Hyber still one of my standout players when it comes to these situations. I look back towards maps like Abbey. He was always phenomenal on that. And right now we are seeing the spots coming through in the middle. Obviously Elian and Crux down towards the back. And the spots through German Brait doing the same. We'll see how this unfolds. Who's got the better position? I've got to say I feel Kazna has got a little bit of a overcompassing kind of presence here, but German Brait bouncing that shell and soaking up the damage, doing what that T-32 loves to do.
Exactly, just absolute beast, played by an absolute beast. But, you know, the good thing for Drooling Leprechauns, yeah, Kazna crew have got some good aggressive positions, but Hyber's actually almost 100% committed to his position. He won't be able to rotate out without having pretty much the whole of Drooling Leprechauns get some shots down onto him. So that's why teams, usually from the north, they don't go over towards the city, because from the south, you can get that village, you can get that city a lot easier. You know, I actually did ask what break means, because it doesn't mean Bratforce. It means break means brother in Serbian, and obviously Kazna Crew is a Serbian team predominantly, so he means German brother, basically. So yeah, that's that cleaned up. Hopefully you guys are
now you are all fulfilled.
Some fulfilling information there, but still, Veko now starting to rotate back around, coming over from really the G line, maybe looking for a way in from the south.
Yeah, we'll see how that pays off. Bluder as well, just in the tier 1. And a look around Cobra Leone on the other side here. I'm still waiting to see Hyber kick into action. Obviously, German Brait did take a couple, considering how many shells are actually shot towards him. He's come out pretty much okay, and to be fair, I'm waiting to see Kazna Crew really start taking the lead here, because they have struggled on this map recently, I say. Haven't seen them really finding their footing like we used to. As we do see that tier 1 Muppety being taken down the end. Not sure if that was from Hyber, but it might give away the game a touch if it was. But still, we'll have to wait and see how that one unfolds. 6 minutes and 45 seconds left. A little bit of movement coming out from these guys. Veko now coming back around. Elian doing the same thing. And what's the plan here for Kazna?
Kazna? The plan is to basically hold on for a little bit and then rotate back up towards German Brait, who's actually the weak link at the moment for Kazna Crew. They've already damaged him a little bit, Drooling Leprechauns that is, but the T-32 on its own, you put 3 AMX-3090s or a 2 double AMX-3090 and WZ-132 against it, and it will be very, very dead, very, very fast.
Yeah.
And even with the T-69s of Elian and Crooks in the background, it's going to be hard for him to survive, as Jack does have to try and edge out of there, as German Brait's doing a pretty good job of destroying the cover in the village. But yeah, he's a weakness. Veko might be a little bit late to the party, so once German Brait goes down, the rotate can come around onto Veko, he'll be the next target, and he'll go down very quickly as well.
But do you think we'll see an engagement here? Both teams look like they're willing to be fair. They do look like they're in the positions maybe to make it happen, no one really having that massive disadvantage or advantage just yet. Do you think we'll see a team going for it this time around?
Yeah, I mean, Prokhorovka's always slow, but because both teams have gone to one side, eventually, you know, they are going to start, you know, edging forwards and start rubbing, and, you know, it's going to become a game about proximity, and then once that proximity gets really close, they're going to take some damage, though. Sensei does have to back away a little bit there. But he's okay, you know, he's just finding his way around and maybe come on the flank a little bit. But at the same time, he's kind of exposed. He is on his own.
And Hyber is not too far away either. I'm not sure if he's aware of that, because I think Muppety did go down to Hyber's hand, I feel. Maybe that did give away a little of the game earlier on, so Hyber could be in trouble. Sensei there just looking around in that 1390. Both extraordinarily fast tanks, the WZ-132 as well. Sensei still being careful, using the slight deflate of the hill to negate, well, to manage to get up it and negate the view of Hyber, but still, this is dangerous play if he does get caught out here. If he does go the wrong way, he shows way too much. There's obviously Crux and everyone else waiting to get involved who've made their way up towards the north here, but Hyber could be caught out quite drastically, and they're both going to find each other very soon. Hyber swings the turret round, looks at the engagement, does not land the first shell. That is not ideal at all, and Sensei finally gets one back, coming in the fire from the further team, but look at that, straight away gets taken down. Elian could not save him, even with all the trying in the world, and the danger to this tactic really coming through. Nice work from Elian though, and German Brait in the background, but Sensei will still stand. Yeah,
but he's just about gone unspotted, 39 HP left. He could actually be a lot more healthy, but he wasn't aggressive enough. He should have just pushed onto Hyber by another 10 meters. It would have been a better position for Drooling Leprechauns than it already is, with one tier 8 tank, one combat tank down for Kazna Crew. Hyber, though, not a massive damage-dealing tank, so don't have to worry too much, but they are going to be retreating a little bit. Drooling Leprechauns on the offensive.
Let's see if they commit anywhere as well, because let's bear in mind, German Brait, Elian and Co have all been putting down the damage from this central position here over those railroad lines. Message Jack, Curex and Snake Guy Finn. Not too far away, but I've got to say overall, Kazna still very much holding the ground, it seems, being a little bit restricting of what maybe the Leprechauns can do. They have a good presence throughout the entirety of the map, and I want to see where Kazna Crew go if they want to actually engage here. Obviously down a tank now, that's not what they wanted at all. But then again, Sensei is low, out of the game almost. But is it enough to make a push out of this? If they'd taken down Sensei, it might have been a different game, but with 3 minutes left, does anyone have enough of an advantage to make a move from this one?
Drooling Leprechauns have the advantage because Kazna Crew have one tank out of the game. That's one gun that can do damage gone for them. So that potential damage is extremely reduced. And Drooling Leprechauns need to find an angle. That's basically the name of the game. Sensei can't really move, but he doesn't really have to. He just needs to make sure that whatever angle Drooling Leprechauns decide to push on, he can support with. Then once that engagement happens, Sensei can rotate back off again and actually get involved with the sniping. He can never really brawl because he is down to so low HP, but he can certainly do some damage. It doesn't look like it's onto message to make this one happen.
Oh, German Bray is in trouble. He's on fire. He could go down here. 2 shells back to back. Just about makes it into cover. But there we have it. The killing blow does come through and he goes down. So there is a big chink in the armor here for Kazna. They could be in trouble. Elian being engaged on by message and count down towards the south of the map. And still, a lot more tanks on the way there as well. It looks like maybe the Leprechauns have found the weakness here. But is it too little too late?
It might just be because of Crooks' HP up in the north and Veko Elian very quick in those AMX 1390s and WZ132 to rotate and to retreat. And it's all going to be about a game of cat and mouse. 1 minute and 48 seconds for Drooling Leprechauns to take this win.
Well, Elian will be the first in line to spot out Jack here. And actually a snake eye fin to the first shell flying. Elian does not land the shot. He goes to the exchange with Jack. It's not going well. Jack gets one back, but he's got backup in the form of snake eye fin. Coming in from the north side here. Elian's going to be in trouble. They're being surrounded on all fronts, but keep your eyes on that timer. Elian needs to buy time, avoid these shells, play safe, play smart, and try and make this one drawn out so the rest of his team can stay alive. Veko is making a run for it. He wants to escape this one. They can't do much here. Him and Crux are the only two standing. And Sensei is very close to Crux. If he spots him out, I think he already has. This means real trouble, and they know where each other are, but Crux not landing these shells is not going to help out the situation. He must make this count. My God, how is Sensei still alive? Crux is making a meal of this. And hell, Sensei only just landed that shot there as Veko has been found as well. He surely will fall any second now. And we are seeing these shells coming in. Crux going in for the aggression, still not landing there. I can't believe Sensei's still alive. And he's done the job. He's taken down Crux. Veko now has to stay alive for 42 seconds with an entire squad against him.
I'm not sure if he can do this. It's only going to be a couple of seconds for the damage to come onto him.
Well, Veko now watching that timer. Is not a lot of time left. 3 shots back to back. Veko looks like he's going down. Shell coming in from the left. He needs one more to fall now. He's surrounded. He's trying to negate it, but he can't. And Kazna crew struggling in the first map, and the Leprechauns picking this one up. Very surprising result there. And I want to ask you, what happened overall? Because it seemed like a lot of small errors kind of accumulated together to the bigger loss.
That was surprising, actually, because it didn't actually come down to a tactical error like it normally does. It actually came down to a player skill error. First of all, by German Bray not realizing that you can get shot through the... Basically, the tracks don't exist in the game. They're just something that's animated. They haven't actually got any substance, so you can shoot through them. German Bray just drove straight parallel to the tracks, didn't even turn his turret, so the whole of Drooling Leprechauns could just hit him in the side. Even the T69s could, but certainly Jack could in the AMX 1390 on top of that hill. So first mistake by German Bray, getting himself taken down in the T32, just completely unnecessary. Hyber going down, so. I mean, it was a little bit unlucky in terms of the damage rolls. That Sensei didn't get taken out there as well, but that was still okay for Kazna crew because the damage they did to Sensei. Then the other problem came with Crux. I'm not, the World of Tanks 101, make sure you can hit the shot before you make it. You need to drive far enough forwards to be able to hit that shot. If Crux actually managed to take down a 39 HP AMX 1390 with 4 shells in his T69, then that would have given Kazna crew probably either 20 seconds, maybe not, maybe, but almost certainly, because he would have been able to drive forwards behind that cover and buy some time, and Veko wouldn't actually have to try and survive for so long. But yeah, that was misplays all round by Kazna crew. Too overconfident, I think. I
tend to agree with you, and it's been a rude awakening. The Leprechauns have been very good to this point as well. Some great results they picked up throughout the previous games as well. They may not have won overall, but they've certainly been picking up maps here and there. And I think Kazna crew just felt the brunt of that. But then again, next map is going to be Winter Himmelsdorf, a city map that we know Kazna crew are strong at. But can they really take down the Leprechauns here, who've also shown a lot of talent?
They can. I think they definitely will have the better chance on Prokhorovka than on Prokhorovka. It's a map which can always go 2 ways. You saw a couple of misplays and you're really going to get taken down pretty quickly. Himmelsdorf's a lot more yes or no. It's a lot more polarized, a lot more binary. So I think for Kazna crew, their heavy tank play of the likes of, for instance, Elian, Hyber, Veko, especially Veko, really to watch out for his play in the AMX 5100. It's going to be very, very hard for Drooling Leprechauns to kind of counteract that. And I think Kazna crew have shown us thousands of times before that they are an excellent team on this map. And they're going to obviously take the experience Leprechauns had, now Denial Esports, along with Elian, and transfer it onto Kazna crew. I think we can all agree Leprechauns were pretty damn good on Himmelsdorf all round.
Oh yeah, definitely. They were one of the teams that could always challenge the best. Whether they won or not, came down to the 1v1s that sometimes, we've got to say it, Mousesports or Leprechauns never quite won at the time. You know, a little bit of a lack of aim occasionally. Let's be serious here. One of the worst records throughout, considering how talented they are. But then again, they're a team that used to depend on a lot of blind shots, and then when you looked at the stats overall, it did kind of make sense. But still, back to the point here, the tank picks have come in. No real surprises, I feel. No,
none at all. Triple 5100, double IS3, double tier 1. That goes for both Kazna crew and Drooling Leprechauns. Yeah. I think Kazna crew a little bit more adapted towards this lineup. For me, the player to look out for Drooling Leprechauns, though, Mapeti, didn't have a big impact on the previous round on Prokhorovka, but I think he will here.
He's always been a solid player when it comes to these moments, and well, the Leprechauns could do it. A 2-0 advance at this point would be phenomenal, and Himmelsdorf is not a map we commonly seen drawn out. Normally it is quite a polarizing win or lose map, but we'll see how that one goes. Obviously, there's always a chance of those tier 1s alive, but it is quite a standard position we see them going to, which can be worked out quite easily. But still, we're going to find out if this goes the way it did. And you did previously say the Leprechauns were going to pick up the first map, and you were right. Will they make it on the second tier?
I think it's going to be too hard for them. Yeah, they are such a strong team, and I think they got a lot of consistency, surprisingly, considering they're so new. But yeah, it's going to be hard for them.
Well, let's see if Kazna crew can do it here. They currently have the disadvantage. Can they bring it back all even on Himmelsdorf? So, welcome into the second map. It is Himmelsdorf, and in the north in red, it's the Leprechauns currently leading with one map above Kazna crew, who are starting in the south in blue. So, what do you think we're going to be seeing from the very offset here?
So, Kazna crew, pretty standard team on Himmelsdorf. They like to send, as we would expect, a couple of tanks up the hill. It looks like Jack and Kirex are going up there. Mapeti probably going to head up towards the right, towards the 8 line. I mean, sorry, this is Drooling Leprechauns I'm talking about, not Kazna crew. And for Kazna, also they're saying Veko, German, Bray, all heading up towards the hill. Pilauda going to take the long route there as well, but that's because of his spawn. So probably pretty much the same route as if he were spawning towards the right side a little bit more. Also a couple of tanks towards the middle, really trying to spot out. The only ones they're really fine there is counting the tier 1 there.
And Elian already taking a little bit of damage, down to 1025. That must have just been a random blind shot, surely going through. That's not how they want to start things off. But still, whose start do you prefer out of these two? Because we see a lot more commitment towards the hill from Kazna crew here. They put in good 2 tanks up towards the top. But I'm not sure either way so far. I like the decisive push down the 1 to 3 line that we saw in the previous matchups. That looked pretty damn good. I think it was C-Player brought that one out. But still, what do you think of the start coming out from Kazna and the Leprechauns? Which one do you prefer?
I'm not sure yet. The good thing, basically why Kazna crew is putting so much resources onto the hill is because there's no reason why you shouldn't. There's, you know, we very rarely see the hill actually coming into anything. You know, you see one team rotate off it, one team rotate onto it, and it just comes back and forwards. But what Kazna is doing is basically making sure that they have the advantage on the hill. They have that crossed off. So put a lot of resources, secure it 100%, and then you can move on to bigger and better things. That's what the hill's all about. Because if you don't do that and you gift it to the other team, they can scamper into your base very quickly and they can retreat into their base just as quickly. So it really does give you a route all over the map just because of the effects of gravity on a very large steel beast that these guys are obviously driving. But you can see Pilauda starting to head up, but you got Jack and Kirex already in waiting.
Yeah, it'd be a bit of a mistake if they just head straight down there. I think they're aware of that. I think Kazna crew know better than just to go head first, and Pilauda there will be the first to spot out Count if he does make a push up here, but Good use of the tier 1, just making sure that's doing the spawn rather than a bigger tank, leaving Elian and co to get the spots across and actually do the damage. Elian has found message once. Sadly, second one doesn't do the damage that they wanted, but Elian making great use of the hill, giving away the game a little bit, but still, he's done a good bit of warranted damage, and he's kind of evened up the score because he did take that damage earlier on. He's
done a good job there, and I'm surprised that Drooling Leprechauns actually weren't ready and waiting to deal with the tank that would obviously head into that position. He kind of does beg the question, why is Kirex and Jack so committed towards this hill, especially when Count is not actually going to be trying to spot out? Yeah. And what is Sensei doing all over the way over there as well in his 5100? He should have been aiming towards Elian's position, maybe somewhere where the tier 1 is. Snake Guy Finn is there, so he's not spotted, so he's not in danger right now. So kind of a little bit, maybe a little bit of inexperience, a couple of misplays, certainly put the HP back into the favor of Kazna crew right now. Count also receives some damage from Palauda, swinging it further.
Yeah, indeed, Palauda just doing really nicely. As long as he stays alive, he's done his job, and he's certainly done that. So Count there playing it smart down the towards the foot of the hill, whereas Palauda towards the tip. And we just have to see what the other moves coming out from Kazna crew are. They've kind of even the score from that first bit of damage. We are seeing German Brat moving off the hill. Elian still sticking around just in case. And I think Veko will be joining German Brat any second now. So there we go, backing away and resetting the fight. So where do you think they could be heading to here? Would it be down the Crescent Moon or maybe over towards the 1-3 line?
It's dangerous either way because Kazna crew, despite Palauda's best efforts, didn't manage to spot Jack and Crix. So either way, you know, if they push up the 8 line, Jack and Crix will be able to push down, join Message and Muppety, and be able to just flatten anything that comes up there. So Kazna crew definitely have to look towards the 1-2-3 line, which is luckily they are doing. Still leaving Elian in the 5100 up the hill, so it could still be a 5-on-4 situation in favor of Drooling Leprechauns. But as per usual, from the south, the best move is to head up the 1-2-3 line. And obviously, Cobra has been there for a while, spotting out, making sure that Drooling Leprechauns haven't committed any resources. So for the play, they have to go forwards, the 2 line, some tanks on the left, leave a 5100 somewhere on the roam. Hyber's still in that middle, keeping the spots out and the pressure onto Drooling Leprechauns, kind of, you know, everything's okay, everything's standard, nothing's changed kind of approach. But eventually, the play for Drooling Leprechauns will have to be Snake Guy Finn a little bit more aggressive in the tier 1, or he can just stay there like he is now, spot out that push, and maybe even look towards the hill, send the 250-100s up there as quickly as possible and try and take down Elian.
Let's see how that one goes, because we do have those 3 tanks lining up. Crux does get spread out, and they don't take down Snake Guy Finn. So, however, I do want to say that I think Crux was already here from the very beginning, so not a huge spot coming out from Snake Guy Finn, not really unearthing the overall plan with German Brait there. Also joining him, and there's no movement towards the hill, so Elian fairly safe still. Yeah, out on a limb. Veko has now joined the others towards the 1-3 line, and they've got a bit of a lineup here. What are they waiting on to make their push now?
They want to see what's actually on the hill. They need that. Even if Palauda suicides, they still need to find out what's going on. They need to see how much resources are committed by Drooling Leprechaun. Snake Finn does go down thanks to some, I think that was Crooks there in the IS3. So managing to hit that one. Palauda now leading the way, carving the way, trying to find some information, see where Drooling Leprechauns are. But slowly but surely, Kazna are realizing that Drooling Leprechauns are kind of cornered in a little bit, and Message is in trouble for Elian. Yeah,
Elian is doing the job that he just knows he can do. Finding Message there, lands one, sadly doesn't get the second, but is giving away the game a little bit here. But I've got to give credit to Elian when it's due. He does play these positions very well. And we are seeing the rest of the squad moving in down to that 1-3 line. And they've got a fairly open path.
Yeah, it's actually good stuff from them. Muppety and Sensei are ready and waiting with the IS3 and the 5100, but it's still only 2. Kirex and Jack are still on the hill. Message got lucky there because Elian, I think he bounced minimum 1 shell, perhaps 2. That should have been him down. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles for the way the RNG system works, or just the general tracking system works. Sometimes you hit the tracks, absorbs the damage, and you get away with a shot. Also, the viewports absorb some damage. So good stuff there from Message, keeping himself into a decent position. Just needs to make sure he replies with any damage Elian gives with some of his own. But slowly but surely, Kazna now on the rotate, looking for a way in. I think what they're going to do is put Cobleone into the cap and just basically protect him with the IS3s and the 5100s.
Let's see, it looks like you're fairly spot on so far. Cobra moving up with Hyber and Krutsk there through the middle of the map, and they're making a nice clinical play out of this one, Kazna crew. Let's bear in mind, no one's taken any damage aside from Elian at the very start, really. And look what they've been able to do back already. So Elian is moving up now, joining the rest of them. We are seeing that cap beginning. Cobra Leone being the one in there. The push now coming down. He is tucked into this corner, meaning the Leprechauns will have to make a really concisive move to get around towards that position.
They have to commit 100%. It could be a good commit, it could be a bad commit, but either way, they have to go for it. And Elian has to find his way onto Message as well, but 2 versus 1 for him.
So Elian down the end of the banana line. He is over there watching that cross. He's got a good little position he could put to use. And you can see the Hyber and Krux are both now in support of Cobra Leone. And even further back, you've got Joe and Bray and Veko on the split around the side. Let's see where that fall will begin, because 18 seconds left. There's not a great deal of time. Good work from Hyber there, keeping Muppety back. And this is what it's all about. Just this smart play. Elian even landing one on the cross towards Message. But the cap taking its time now. Just slowly but surely working down. You are seeing the push towards Elian beginning. Elian will be facing up against Kirex. And Elian actually going out better on this one. He needs to land one, but there we go. Jack comes around the side in support and takes him down, but the cap's still underway. 10 seconds left. Hyber now going aggressive, trying to buy time. He takes down Message. Brilliantly played, but the reset came through from Sensei. Crux now trying to support from the backside, keeping Kirex away from the action. Can they support long enough? Can Crux do the work? Yes, he can. Takes down Kirex. Cap still underway. 5 seconds left. Sensei moving in. They need those 5100s to come into play and support here. They need backup. Hyber, perfect work, perfect positioning. Oh, so well done in the end by Kazna crew, and they capture the base to boot. Brilliant, brilliant play. Wow. That's how you cap a circle.
That is how you cap a circle, to coin a phrase. But generally, yeah. I mean, you can't really ask for anything more. That's literally how it's done. That is a tactic. That is how it's executed when you get everything right. The one thing we've seen before where teams have made mistakes when they try and go for that cap is what Elian did. Stayed in that kind of courtyard area, yep, and basically caused the 2 AMX 5100s not to be able to commit around onto the capping tanks, but instead having to commit onto him first because he was hull down, and that really did waste the time and allow Kazna crew to deal with Message and Sensei in the 5100 and the IS-3 and eventually Muppety as well, and then they can rotate around, and Veko came from the side to deal with the 2 AMX 5100 coming in from the middle.
That was just so well played. Literally, Kazna crew got that down to a T. Manipulated the enemy to come into the exact position they wanted. Who's your standout player from that? Because there's several people you could highlight, but who do you think made the biggest impact for you?
Elian. Surprisingly enough, I mean,
Funny
Elian's a great one on this map. He did 2.5k damage there in the 5100.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. And
it's more where that damage was put towards as well. That shot on
he was on his own. The whole game, he was unsupported on his own, but he was doing the damage.
Yeah. It was literally a 1v1 between him and Message for so long as well. It was just this constant back and forth from different positions as well. On the hill, Message received, I think, the first one down by the
first
center.
Couple, actually,
it was. It was just this brilliantly played out position, and Message pulling across. If he'd got away maybe with 1 shot less towards him, you never know what he could have done with that. Because it did come down to just a tier 1 being defended by those 2 IS-3s. You perfectly pictured it earlier on, and it came into fruition, and it was so well done by Kazna. And you were right. This is a step maybe too far for the Leprechauns just yet. When Kazna crew are just constantly applying that pressure to the perfect execution, it's very hard for them to deal with it. I don't think they're quite at the level to do that yet. If they get in towards a map where a little bit more creativity can be the factor, where it's not so to the T, there is a chance, but Himmelsdorf doesn't really allow for that. We need to see what the next map will be, really, to kind of find out, is there a chance there for the Leprechauns to bring back? Maybe an open map, maybe something they can kind of do their own thing on, but Himmelsdorf is a very down-to-the-T kind of position. It's not got that many variants, as we now know. Yeah,
we're going to be moving on to Ensk next. So another non-open map.
True.
I think it's going to be Ensk either way. I'm pretty sure it is. Again, I think Kazna crew will have the advantage because creativity is not so important. On Prokhorovka, certainly, Kazna crew can't predict what's going to happen. They don't know what's going to be played. Yep. Whereas on Himmelsdorf, you have a certain amount of tactics. It's more about how you execute those tactics than what you actually do in the first place. You can make a terrible plan done well is better than a good plan done terribly. So in my opinion, that's really the moral for this one for this one Himmelsdorf. Either way, I think Kazna crew are now forwards is obviously one map apiece, so Drooling Leprechauns certainly aren't down and out, but they need to be able to win Ruinberg or Ensk, otherwise they're certainly going to struggle, because they can't rely on those open maps.
I tend to agree. You know, the Leprechauns, I wouldn't say they got lucky on the first one, as much as that's a horrible pun to be made. But Ruinberg being next, they need to make this one count, because I used to say it a little while ago, that once Kazna Crew or Elian or even Mouse Sports back then got, you know, the confidence beside them, they became this really hard to deal with team that, you know, suddenly when they normally miss those shots that everyone knows they would do, they suddenly start landing them and you're like, oh Jesus Christ, we are really in trouble here. You know, it becomes this little bit of a mountain to climb. So if they pick this one up, if they start building, they become this almost unstoppable creature. So I'm hoping they can land it. The only other team that I've seen them kind of drop it against, I can't remember who it was. There was a team that they gave them to the right to the final map and they completely slipped. It was a bit of a surprise.
Wusa?
It was Wusa. Yeah, it came down to Ensk and they completely fumbled it. That's the only time I've seen Kazna drop the ball like that. But still, Ruinberg, I don't think it's a map we'll see it on. What's your opinions? Is this something we can expect to see, or is the tank choice saying it's a safe play from them?
Tank choice is a TCM tank choice for Drooling Leprechauns. Double IS3, triple 5100. Very heavy. They got AMX 3090, double 5100 even. And for Kazna Crew, double IS3, AMX 3090, double 5100, double tier 1. So very similar lineups. Pretty much the same, actually. Yeah. Exactly the same, actually. Which is not something we've seen on Ruinberg for a very long time. So it could be interesting who wins those engagements. It's going to come down to the city, I think. And again, that's not a place where Drooling Leprechauns wants to engage on.
Definitely not. You look at Himmelsdorf, it's pretty much like, which one would you prefer? Something a little bit like Prokhorovka, with a bit of openness, a little bit of village in there, or do you want just a hardcore city where it's not exactly in your favour, which it probably comes down to. So we'll see if Kazna Crew can kind of take it to that factor. Your opinion on this one? Who's it going to?
I'm going to have to give it to Kazna. They look so strong at the moment on these city maps, or it could be a draw, and that would be a good situation for the Drooling Leprechauns, as we do head towards Mines and and Steps, for instance. So that's my opinion. It's going to be a draw or a win for Kazna.
Well, we'll find out. There's no loss there for you in your mind. It's a clear picture. He's got full faith. But you guys at home obviously still have your chance to get your votes through. Go over to Facebook and Twitter and get involved. Because, guys, everyone here is ready for Ruinberg. So, welcome into the third map. It's going to be Ruinberg. You said a bit of a decider between these two, and I tend to agree. In the north in blue, it's Kazna Crew now tied 1 apiece with the Drooling Leprechauns in the south in red. So, from the very offset, these two teams with two very different plans in mind. As you said, Kazna Crew, in Oliver's opinion, will never lose this, but maybe the Leprechauns can prove you wrong. So, what are we doing from the start?
We're seeing the expected move from Drooling Leprechauns heading towards the city. Unusual that they're not going the quicker route, instead going left. Maybe that's going to be indicative of a quick push along and towards the cap of Kazna Crew, who are heading up towards the middle, going for the standard tactic, wanting to take the village area as quickly as possible, not giving away any time to Drooling Leprechauns. Kirex being very aggressive, not spotting anything out, not getting spotted, probably the more important factor. So Kazna Crew are not in the city, and Drooling Leprechauns knows it.
Well, I think there's going to be a realization factor for Kazna as well pretty soon. Excuse me, Crux. Does let the shell fly, no connections there. Everyone's sitting fairly pretty. And as you said, the Leprechauns not sitting still there. They're happy to make them way across. Kirex leading the way, but there's no one really there to stop them just yet. And at the moment, Kazna's still very much on the hill, but we are seeing a retraction coming out from, I believe, Hyber, getting back down towards their cap circle just to play a little bit more defensively. As we now know, the Leprechauns going for maybe a little bit of an interesting play overall. And what did you think their end game was?
Probably just to make sure that Kazna Crew can't get their normal positions in the city. Everyone knows that from the north, you know, you get these places and you can start working your way into the defense. So if you go aggressive at the beginning, you get better positions and you can do the damage early on. That's the main plan. You put the IS3s forwards as well. You know, you get some good positions, you get some good damage, and suddenly you're in the front driving seat for the game. But almost the same as we saw between Lucky Cracky and Evil Panda Squad at the beginning on this map. One team has the city, one team has the right side, turning into a bit of a Prokhorovka of a city map.
Yeah.
Polarized, and really does take one team to commit 100% for a real result to come out of. And for Drooling Leprechauns, again, it's going to be about either defending that cap effectively or pushing into the cap effectively, because we saw previously Lucky Cracky tried to push up through the middle, did not work out, although Kazna haven't committed as many resources as the Evil Panda Squad did to that middle area, so it might still be effective, but they have committed more resources up towards the right hand side, and that might spot out the middle push. And for Kazna Crew, they have a little bit more open options. They just basically need to take the cap area and then commit more resources around and leave a couple of 5100s to defend their own cap.
Let's see how that one goes. He's now being put into more of a defensive position. Obviously, Hyber there just side scraping his way to victory, keeping eyes across. He might put out Kirex if he's careful. There we go. Spot does come down.
The Kirex didn't get spotted. He just spotted
Hyber who spotted him.
Yeah, the camo value on the AMX 3090 is superb.
Yeah, indeed, fantastic stuff there. Crux as well doing just the same thing, keeping eyes across, making sure they can't push out too easy or get to positions that they would be able to catch Kazna Crew out in. And we're going to see where the Leprechauns can take this, because they do seem like a great side when they take the advantage, when they take the initiative and start running with it. But obviously that city push, very hard to be a decisive team, and Crux does receive a little bit of damage, but nothing to really write home about just yet. See where he's at. And there we go. So obviously he was the one there just in sort of spot, but nothing too really worrying just yet for either side.
No, it's all even at the moment. Yeah, okay, Crux are taking a little bit of damage, but it's not really a consequential amount of damage, but more shells do head his way. Elian also trying to reply with a couple of his own. Definitely blind shots, not connecting on to anything from DRL at all. And, I would expect German Break to be a little bit more aggressive in the MX 3090. He's been pretty passive. Kirex has definitely been the more open to go forwards. He definitely likes to go around roaming, trying to find some information out. And that's really what German Break needs to do. Do what put the MX 3090 near the cap, see if he gets spotted. If he doesn't get spotted, he knows there's a tier 1 there. If he does get spotted, he knows there's a tier 8 there. And then if there is a tier 1 there, then he can go forwards, he can kill it. And then really it comes down to when does Kazna Crew go for the cap? Do they duke out the cap? Do they, put some tanks there? Notably their tier 1s, the MX 3090s, but the main force the main damage dealing tanks up towards the north, their own cap, ready and waiting for the push that will inevitably come from Drooling Leprechaun. So the kind of options that are going through Kazna Crew's head. Obviously, they're like 10,000 times better than I am at coming up with tactics. I think, the days of me being a tactician are well and truly gone. Although I'm amazing at random battles, not.
I bet.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure, maybe not. But yeah, Kirex still trying to find a way onto Elian, but obviously Elian will be in the better position being higher up.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think back to who was the 1390 for C-Play when it got to Ruinberg. Yes, what a brilliant play. And you look at the comparison, German Brett really not making any use of the tankies in there. And German Brat, just very, very different styles. Obviously, unique players having their own personalities, the way they play it. But 4 minutes and 26 seconds left. No advantage really to either side. No one really looking for that big engagement here. I feel like this is going to be a draw, personally.
Yeah, I think this might be a draw. Neither team want to commit because they know once they've committed, that is pretty much the end of days. Very, very hard to win on Ruinberg when you do have this engagement. Previously, it was all about that middle F road.
Yeah.
When the teams could see the other teams line up, they knew, okay, these guys are picking T69, so let's just go for the middle engagement. Whoever is the better team there will end up winning. At the end of the day, that doesn't work anymore. When you're taking IS3s and AMX 5100s, that middle engagement is pretty much impossible to win against when you have a T69 and an AMX 3090. So it's always hard, with blind picks, but that's just the way it goes, and it definitely makes things a little bit more interesting. But there's going to be garbage time. There's still going to be 2 minutes and 30 seconds when one of these two teams says, okay, we can't lose it anymore. Let's put a tier 1 in a defensive position, and let's put some AMX 3090s, 5100s go forward. Crux receiving another shell, I believe. Or was that one from earlier? That might have been one from earlier, but he's down to 1153. Some delay there, obviously.
His one I made earlier, kind of moment.
Pretty much, there's some Blue Peter stuff there.
I used to love Blue Peter. Did you ever get on the badges?
I never submitted some. I watched it every day after school, but I never submitted anything.
No.
I wanted to do like the greatest animals one, but I never did it.
What was that?
You had to submit, you know, what you think your greatest animal will be. So, for instance, you know, I'd have like a tortoise, put like a head of a tiger, like chimpanzee arms, but have like the
greatest tank.
Precision grip. Yeah, they would love that. You know, kids think, put 300mm gun on it. Yeah, that'd
be amazing.
Ender of worlds. They would like that. You know.
I think that's a new game we should play. Create your ideal tank. We are into garbage time. You may have noticed pretty much. There's 2 minutes and 27 seconds left. Maybe something incredible could happen. I'm not sold on it, however. So these tanks are pretty much playing out for the draw. But yeah, like if you could make your most perfect tank, what would be on it? What would be your ideal animal? It
would be the challenge. What, the perfect tank animal?
Yeah, like the perfect tank animal. Like if you combine all the different pieces from your very favorite tanks, what would you create?
Oh, okay, I get it. I think I would have. This is a hard choice. I think I would have the JWP E100, whatever that tank is, which has 6 shells, autoloader with the Yag Tiger gun.
Right.
But I'd have like the AMX-50B autoloading thing because then it could load a lot quicker. I would have. This is hard choices because you want speed.
You want a little bit of speed.
I think I'd have the engine of the Leopard 1 because it's so quick. But then I'd have to slow it down a little bit and maybe put, I don't know. I like it maybe, like I was saying, the E50M, maybe that's strong enough armor. Or I'd actually put the T110 E5 armor. Yeah, T110 E5, the T110 E4 is a little bit heavier, so you got a bit of armor to deal with. You got that big gun. I would put the E100 side armor before it got nerfed, so it can't take any damage from artillery. Not sure actually. I think
I think you deserve a badge for that.
That might conclude it. Someone make that happen, please.
Yeah,
come on.
If someone makes Ollie's ideal tank,
or I'll just have the Ratter. But as I was speaking nonsense, Jack does receive a shell 997 left on that 5100. 45 seconds left. Not enough time to make anything happen. It's to be expected though. So
the question now is, guys at home, we want you to send us your ideal tank.
Melly would love
all the little
that.
different pieces put together. You know, which turret would you go for? Which armor? Which engine? You know, what are your kind of like big factors to all the tanks you love? So, guys, obviously get onto Facebook and Twitter and let us know what you would put together. You've heard Ollie's, so obviously all you big tanker fans.
See if you can beat mine.
Yeah, indeed. We'll make some Blue Peter badges.
I doubt it.
Yeah, you reckon that's too perfect?
It's not possible.
It's not possible. But yes, do get involved. This is garbage time right now. The teams can't win or lose. They played it out for the draw. Scumbags.
Some damage going down though, but it will be a duel. The only real consequence there is Kirex going down in the AMX-1390, or the AMX-1390 for 249 damage of his own. But yeah, the draw if I've ever seen one, to be honest.
Yes, I think both teams
slowest
that
game
as well.
I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, when we get to talking about Blue Peter, there's a problem.
I'm not sure if anyone outside of the UK knows what Blue Peter is. That could be
let
another
us
issue.
know. Okay, go on Twitter right now at
You can Google it.
and at LaughterLuty and let us know if you watched Blue Peter as a kid, because that was a big part of my childhood.
Was a huge part of my it was a huge part of my childhood.
Getting teared up there. It gets emotional.
I'm getting all teary-eyed here.
Woof. Yeah.
Blue Peter and the Disney Channel.
I liked Art Attack.
Zoe 101. Pacific Coast
Channel?
Academy. Yeah, I didn't have any choice. My sister was always home before me, so she'd have Hannah Montana and stuff on,
Nothing
and I'd
wrong
just
with
be
Hannah
like,
Montana.
well, nothing wrong with Miley Cyrus until a couple of years ago. Then
then everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. It's just a sudden
went downhill
nosedive.
very quickly.
Oh, bless her. She was in Cologne recently. We should have gone
she?
and seen her. Yeah.
Really?
There was a concert here.
Well, it's a big pole, the cathedral. So
wow.
Really surprised.
Wow. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, my co-caster keeping it PG-13.
I might just be sued for that one, but we'll have to wait
it's
and
all good.
see.
I'll let Miley know. I'll go and tweet her right now. With all my big followers. Anyway, we will be going to the next map, Steps, in just a moment's time.
Yeah.
What sort of tank choices do you think we're going to see between these two?
I think maybe Drooling Leprechauns might go for something a little heavier, as will Kazna crew. But they saw the result of in the previous matchup where C-Play took the IS-3 and the T-32, didn't work out. probably won't make the same mistakes. Honestly, I don't think we'll see that many more teams bring the IS-3. I think the T-32 is a gamble, but you plus the IS-3 to that, and you really are gambling way too much, and it goes a very slippery slope when you start gambling with your tanks. At the end of the day, you might as well just pick the standard tanks, because you know they work. You know, for instance, a double T69, a triple MX-3090, you've got the damage, you got the versatility, you got the burst, you got the penetrativity, if that's the word. Don't think it is.
We're gonna make it one.
I'm gonna make it one. Let's put that to the English dictionary. So you got all the factors you need to be a successful team.
You made up 2 words there. What was the shrubbery one?
Shrubbery.
I don't know.
I have to look at it. Tweet at me what you remember what it was. Laughter WT if you remember what many words. Maybe just actually compile them and give them to me at the end of the season.
Yeah, Ollie's dictionary. It's just a new thing. We'll come up with some work on that. You know, rather than doing VOD reviews, I'm just gonna go and look over that and find the words that you somehow create. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I think I come up with some, to be fair. I just don't think I think I gloss over it fast enough that no one notices. It's how you become professional.
Just slur
all the time.
Yeah,
it makes it perfect.
AK, just play by play, this kind of thing.
Whoa, this is analysis. There's so much to analyse during the last couple of maps. Currently it's been, what's your favourite tank?
No, it's been, how do I make my favourite tank?
That's true.
But shush, we've got tanks here to talk about. T-32, double AMX-39, no, T-32 AMX-3090,
right,
T-69 ×2, double tier 1 for Drooling Leprechauns, AMX-3090 ×2, T-32, T-69 Pershing, double T1 for Kazna crew. So once again, you know, both these teams picking out the heavy tanks, the T-32 as predicted. But other than that, it's a pretty good lineup. GRL picking the IS-3 didn't work out for CPLI against TCM. We'll have to see if they can make this lineup work out, because so far no team has managed to do that, including Schoolbus.
Yeah, I agree. I'm still not favourable towards
including Virtus Pro as well, actually.
Did they actually try it?
Yeah, tried it, didn't work.
I don't know why people are giving this a go. As Navi played it recently, everyone's gone, do you not, let's do it.
That used to happen so much. We used to play Navi and be like, oh man, look at that tank.
That was a great tactic, God.
And we were just completely oblivious to the fact they're like 10 times better than us, and we were just like...
It's never down to skill.
They could have picked like, I don't know, Panzer 5s and still won. So...
Look, you blame it on the tanks. It's much easier than accepting you're a lesser player.
Was it bad trademan blames his tools or something?
Yep, that's totally the phrase, Oliver. I like it. So guys, let's get ready for the next map, Steps. So, welcome into the 4th map. It is Steps, and in the north in red, it's the Drooling Leprechauns. In the south in blue, it's Kazna crew, and we are tied up 1-1 right now. And let's find out who's going to break ahead. So, take us away.
Hello, Drooling Leprechauns. From the north, starting over towards the left side, sending some tanks there. Tensai going first in the MX-3090, going to get the spots out, but they have got a very slow lineup. So pretty much all they can do is just stay over towards the left side, make sure that they have their cap also covered so they don't get cheekily capped by the slightly faster double AMX-3090 lineup from Kazna crew, who also surprisingly heading over towards the right side, getting punished almost immediately. German breakdown to 825.
Yeah, big bit of damage being caused very early on. German break there, just about making it into slight cover. Not a great deal either, looking at that. But still, a couple of shots going between these two. Veko trying to use the speed of that. Crux coming around in the T69 as well, and let's hope Crux this time can actually land a couple of those shells in the T69. Last time went desperately wrong. But as you said, a little bit surprising that Kazna crew are going for this as well.
Yeah, they are very surprising right now. German Bray down to 825, not of big consequence because he's now hull down, so he probably won't receive that much damage until and if Drooling Leprechauns decide to push around and actually go for the real aggression, the real move they want to make. But they are ahead, so they have the advantage. They would be stupid for them to give it away. But it's about finding the angle, and only real angle I see right now is to push forwards onto Hyber Crux, sending one towards receiving it, and sending that message straight back onto him. Crux going 349 damage down for his trouble. So back and forwards, but at the moment Drooling Leprechauns firmly ahead in terms of HP.
Let's see if they can make any work of that as well. It's all good to be ahead, but you got to make some sort of use of it. Ilian there keeping eyes, Hyber even keeping eyes across. Might just catch a glimpse of Sensei very soon. I think he just has. Going to back away a little. And there's that IS-3 in play and has a message. And it does connect towards German Brait, actually. He's struggling.
That's a HE shell from message there.
Yeah, really struggling to make an impact on this game, German Brait. Really, really finding it hard to find his footing here. And there's no real safe place for him, it seems. As the Leprechauns not really easing up at all.
He struggled full stop in all the games. On Prokhorovka, he was in the wrong position, got himself caught out. Now on Steps, also getting caught out, but it was a risk and he did take it. Hyber does take down Sensei one shot. Jack also receiving one from Ilian there. So back and forwards, although the amount of damage Drooling Leprechauns able to put out with the IS-3 and the T-32 is more than what Kazna crew can rely on with the AMX 1390s. But they still have the option. Basically, Kazna crew have a massive window of opportunity right now. Sensei's a massive weak spot. Push two AMX 1390s, two T69s along the bottom, take down Sensei, and then flank the T62s up, keep Snake Guy Finn and Message away, because Message and the IS-3 won't have the gun depression to be able to deal with the two T69s. Snake Guy Finn will be the first target, send German Brait over, and just basically take him down first and then deal with Message later. Might as well just leave him well alone because he just won't be able to keep up with the whole of Kazna crew. And you can see already Sensei sensing that might happen and does retreat.
Yeah, not exactly a bad idea either. Hyber was the one landing those shells in that 1390, and even though he's not really made a huge impact in the last couple of games, he certainly can do once his mind gets set to it. Veko as well, pretty far back, and it looks like Kazna crew are actually retracting a little here. Maybe not enjoying sticking out this long. Crux is the first to back away. Ilian on the way as well in that Pershing and the T-32. Taking its time, obviously, but it will get there in the end. And I'm not sure where the plan may lie now for Kazna. They went for the initial engagements and the exchanges, and they have walked away with the slight... it's a very even HP advantage between these two, actually. It's really damn even. But where's the plan now laying for Kazna crew? They are adapting, they are moving, but where are they going to?
Ilian just get very lucky because he got spotted out. Just no connections from Drooling Leprechauns. But yeah, they've been spotted. It gives the game away, allows Drooling Leprechauns to go forwards. Now this could be a problem. Their Message does be a little bit too aggressive, gets caught out for 490 damage. If he gets tracked, he'll be in trouble. Yeah,
Ilian there just making it hurt. A little bit of a shot back through, even though he was the one getting spotted out. So good play to him, but still, let's see if Kazna can find a way around. They're very much falling back into a unique position. A little bit reminiscent of, I think it was Team Dignitas who did this not too long ago. Really getting back into this top corner and waiting for someone to push them. And are they all doing this right now? Actually, no, Crux is moving away. So maybe not the exact same strategy, but it certainly was in previous times. Hyber now coming off it as well. And they look like going on a full swing rotating. They might get caught out if they're not fast enough here by the Leprechauns.
Yeah, they certainly are. That's the real danger for them. They're being quite dynamic, but also not very good because they can't be dynamic into the right positions. But Crux and Veko, Ilian and two AMX 1390s darting ahead in towards the base. Count Juhu waiting in those two tier 1s, spotting them out. That will cause Drooling Leprechauns obviously to be more aggressive than they are already and push in and try and deal with the Kazna crew tanks left in the base, German Brait, Crux and Ilian. Whether they manage to do that, because they will be pushing onto tanks that are hull down and ready and waiting in the better defensive positions.
Let's see, at the moment Kazna crew are surrounding them a little bit here. And Veko there, Ilian actually falling back, maybe expecting a little bit of pressure before he could do any damage down by the other team's cap circle, but still. A couple of shells coming out, mostly from Hyber there. Hyber letting them fly, but Sensei on the receiving end once again. It's all down to Leprechauns to make the move, it seems. Kazna crew put their neck out on the line earlier on with a little bit of a face check of a start, but now they're happy to fall back and say, okay guys, you want the cap, you want to take us down, you've got to have to come to us. And I think that's a bad plan, to be fair. They are tied at 1-1, and we'll have to see what that last map is if it comes to it, if they're depending on this one.
It's mine.
That's a dangerous map to let it come down to. Let's find out now. Message and Snake Guy Finn being spotted again. 3 minutes and 49 seconds. You know, the Leprechauns, if they want to make a move, they're going to have to do it fairly soon.
It looks like the calm before the storm, if I'm honest. Snake Guy Finn receives a nice little shell there. That was definitely APCR, so probably from German Brait.
Yep.
And 318 damage would be consistent for the 320 average damage the T-32 does. with the 105mm there. Just penetration lacking. Message does go forwards in the IS-3. Hyber is the target for the IS-3. Perfect tank to be doing that on, but Drooling Leprechauns are firmly committed to this push from the trench, and it does allow Kazna crew breathing room, does allow Kazna crew a bit of ability to try different angles, head over towards the cap, which looks like Ilian is going to be doing again, roaming on his own, making the plays, making all the plays he can, making all the things work for his team, and hopefully he can find the damage he did on Himmelsdorf just here on steps. Does get spotted out though, and that might cause the retreat from Drooling Leprechauns.
It might do indeed. A couple of shells are coming across, so Ilian doing what he can, maybe to force the hand of the opponent. We've got Snake Guy Finn trying to peer up and over, but no real connections being made in their favour here, and it's been that way for some time now. Drooling Leprechauns have had that HP ripped away from them. The advantage they had once, now looking rather small with 2 minutes and 28 seconds left. We are seeing the retreat from the Leprechauns, not fancying their chances, and I don't blame them. Maybe Ilian's presence there with Cobra Leone forcing them to fall back a little. And it looks like Kazna crew looking to play this one out for the long run, and maybe looking to secure it on the final map.
Yeah, if Kazna crew have the south on mines, they pick the double T32 lineup, it'll be extraordinarily hard for Drooling Leprechauns to win. We'll have to see if they do get the southern spawn, because it does look like Kazna crew don't want to be aggressive. We're almost heading into garbage time now, 1 minute and 55 seconds. And if Kazna do engage, they are going to be engaging onto a well-covered Drooling Leprechauns. You can see all their tanks are in a line and are all covering each other. They've all got the line of sight, so they don't have to worry. And same goes to Kazna crew pretty much. The two tanks in behind, Crux and the German Brate in the T32 and Crux in the T69, covering Veko and Ilian in the two MX-3090s. And finally Hyber making the last tank up there. Ilian in the Pershing, sorry, not the 3090. 1 minute and 25 seconds left on the clock. With the slow lineup Drooling Leprechauns has, it's going to be impossible for them to be aggressive and win. Yeah. And the only play I can see happening is a Kazna crew push into the cap.
Yeah, and I don't think they've been playing for it really. Looking at Ilian here, seeing a little further back. The only two are pushed up, well, one being Cobra Leone in that tier 1. The other, Hyber, who does receive a shell, gets kind of knocked back for all that trouble. And 1 minute left. I don't think we're going to see an engagement here. There might be a little bit of a back and forth scrap, but it's certainly not going to be defining of the victor. Looking at the HP pool left on these two, 54 seconds. I don't believe it's enough time. You are seeing the shells coming in. Jack going fairly low, but we'll see if they can really make it hurt. But still, it's not enough time here, is it? No,
Hybers might be able to stay on Jack, and he does. Jack in the box for him, but not obviously of consequence. 35 seconds left and 5 tanks to find. Almost impossible.
Yeah, near on impossible. If you maybe had Ilian at a World Finals, you never know what would happen, but a little bit of too much of a mountain to climb, as we're being garbage time. You are seeing the shells going between these two. Uppity there, just taking a couple from Veko, and pins it in. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, he will fall, but 10 seconds left. It's about that next map here. We've got to start looking towards mines, and we can kind of go over what happened on this one, because really, neither side went for the big victory here. They went for the initial exchange, and then it kind of petered out. Yeah,
it would have been hard for Kazna crew to push, so they were basically waiting for Drooling Leprechauns to go forwards, and they did have the advantage again, but it's just, I just don't get it. You know, you pick the IS-3 and the T32, you can't win with that lineup, because you can put an AMX-3090 on the other side of the base, it'll be able to outrun your whole team, and all Kazna crew has to do is worry about taking down Drooling Leprechauns AMX-3090, because that's the only tank that can keep up with it. So, you know, if you want to play a game of cat and mouse, you want to be the fast. You know, game of cat and mouse is good because the cat is almost as fast as a mouse, and vice versa. So, if you're going to be a very slow fat cat, it doesn't work. You know, you're going to lose that game pretty damn quickly. And Drooling Leprechauns couldn't be offensive, and Kazna crew could just dance away. And they couldn't be offensive because it's a very big cat, has a lot of HP, a lot of armor. So when you engage onto it, it's just going to be able to sit there, and you're really not going to be able to make much consequence against it.
It's a really weird use of cats.
Great metaphor.
Ladies and gentlemen, my analysis, hardest job in the world. Cat terms. Big cat can take a lot of damage.
Hashtag big cat. It's going to be a new hashtag. It's my new hashtag.
It might just be that. But as you were saying, final map going up is going to be mines. Currently tied at 1-1. Every single game today is going to the 5 maps. Are you okay there, buddy?
I still can't get over the big cat thing. But carry on, yeah, sorry. We're on to mines now, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, carry on, Lauren. Keep doing your job. I'll just sit here laughing about cats. Yeah. Anyway, mines being the final map. You said there's a possibility of Kazna Crew having a near-on unbeatable lineup in that the big cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, are you okay, Ollie?
Yeah, I'm good. Just,
I don't know, man.
I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it. Just carry on. I'm looking for the tank picks.
Okay, explain to me what the big cat tank pick would be.
T32.
Just one?
Yeah. Okay. Just one. As I said before, Kazna Crew. Well, it's 1-1 at the moment. Prokhorovka went to Drooling Leprechauns. Himmelsdorf went to Drooling Leprechaun. Himmelsdorf went to Kazna Crew. So you have really the open map won by Drooling Leprechauns, the closed city map won by Kazna Crew. We meet on mines, which is basically a combination of both. One map apiece. Who can win on the kind of hybrid map, the dynamic map?
Yeah.
You both have to be aggressive. You have 1 point to lose, which is it's good. You know, it might make a big difference at the end of the season. I think both these teams would be happy with a point each. Maybe slightly less for Kazna Crew because they are sitting second behind V-Pro, and after that amazing win by TCM Gaming against C-Play.
You want to keep building those points up.
To stay in contention. You definitely want to be winning this one, getting the 3 points at the end of the day, and then you can look towards who's won the most rounds, etc., etc. So yeah, these teams are obviously going to be keeping that in mind. I don't think we're going to go with the draw. It's very hard to draw in mines anyway.
No, it definitely is. Even with that tier point removed, tier point rule being removed, still very difficult to hide anything here. It is still quite a compact map, really, overall. I want to see if anyone's willing to use that position we saw Wusa going back to up in those mountains.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but it'd be great to see. I'd love to see that. But Kazna Crew, last time we saw them on this map as well, I do look back to their defensive way they played. Yeah. Very much on the south, very defensive, very turtle down. I'm curious to see if we have that here today, or they go for more offensive lineup. But what are we seeing going in so far?
So Kazna Crew, as predicted, double T32, triple AMX 3090, double tier 1. So something a little bit more defensive. The T32, luckily, mines is not a very big map, so it can still traverse quite well. It can still get back to the base. Not that fast, but you can make up with that with the triple AMX 3090s. DRL going for a very hill-orientated lineup. T69, WZ132, AMX 3090, T32. Double T69 even, so they got the MX 3090 WZ132, or Message actually joining and leaving for the garage again. So that would have actually been a mistake from DRL, because triple MX 3090, you have 3 of them, it'll always be able to beat the MX 3090 and the WZ132. So don't make the play for the hill with the tank that's only good for taking the hill if you're not even going to be able to win it because you don't have enough of them on there. Is basically the thing for them. So, standard lineup for Kazna Crew, the one they've made work before. I think they can be pretty comfortable in that. But Message is going to be that one, WZ132, and I'm telling you, that's a risky move for them. And if they do commit onto the hill, probably going to be starting from the north, they might find themselves in a bit of danger.
Well, let's bear in mind that Kazna Crew tried it with that WZ132 and it failed. That was one of the times we've seen them lose a mine. So if there's any team that's going to be able to know how to play against this, it will be them. I'm going to be surprised if this works out for the Leprechauns, but this is the deciding map, tied at 1-1. Let's get ready for mines. Welcome to map number 5. It will be mines, Drooling Leprechauns and Kazna Crew tied at 1-1. And it'll be the Leprechauns in the north in red, and in the south in blue, it's Kazna Crew. And well, what are we seeing from the very start here? So,
Drooling Leprechauns starting to head towards the hill. Obviously, Message and Sensei want to be getting that place as quickly as possible. They're going to be challenged down by Veko, German, Brait, and Hyber in their 3 MX 3090. So it's going to be all about who can get the hill the quickest. And honestly, I think Kazna Crew are going to be better off in that situation. But no, they're not going for the hill at all. Veko and Pilauda going over towards the right side. Hyber in pursuit as well. So indeed, Drooling Leprechauns are going to be able to get that upper territory and going to be able to get a little bit of map insight and map information off Kazna crew, but they are over towards the right side, so at least Kazna crew look like they have a plan.
Yeah, well, this is a defensive Kazna crew setup that we saw before that paid off for them in the end once the other team had to go for the push. But then again, Kazna crew were on match point, or to a point where the other team had to go for the win. This time, the Leprechauns don't have to go for the win. They can go for the draw out as well and make sure Kazna moves. So yeah. I'm not sold on this. This is a great play when you have, you know, the advantage and the other team has to make the initial movement. But maybe that's why they've committed a couple more players over towards that lighthouse area, and maybe that's as to why. But still, I'm not 100% sold on this. I think it's very passive for these guys, and it doesn't always pay off for them. Yeah,
Green Leprechauns just have to make sure that they get the kind of hill advantage, they get the information they need to, and make sure they don't get crossfired by Hyber and Veko on the island. But I just don't see how Kazna crew can be offensive, because Crux and Elian are so far back. And honestly, how do you engage against Crux and Elian? They got a combination of 3,100 HP, 640 damage first strike ability, and then, you know, it's consistent damage from after that. The T-32 does good alpha damage, and it's just going to be very hard with the WGL to find the real striking and penetrative ability to take those ones down. So I just interested to see how Drooling Leprechauns going to have to deal with this.
Well, they look like they're on the rotate already, the Leprechauns. They are making their way down towards the island, which could be a mistake. Already, Hyber is keeping eyes on this one, as you can see there in that 1390, keeping eyes across. But Paluda will spot these guys out. Hyber may be finding a more sensible position. Veko's there as well. German Brait in tow. There's a lot of players present here. This could go badly wrong for the Leprechauns if they fully commit. But at the moment, they look like they just want to make those shots and try and make it count. Hyber, however, looking across, see if he can spot anyone out who is keeping that crossfire in from that central hill, but no one there. And Paluda now just playing it smart, needs to stay alive and get that information as soon as possible.
So Drooling Leprechauns are now committed towards the island. They've got 1, 2, 3 message sensei, Muppety, combat tanks, or tier 8 tanks over there towards the Lighthouse Island, and really how they're going to commit is going to be the big question. I think send the 2 fast tanks in first, and then just have Muppety in support, and that looks like what their plan is. Message, though, he has low HP, so he's going to go down very quickly, and Hyber's going to be there. Yeah,
Hyber landing the first shell, landing the second. It looks like Hyber's on point in this game. Can he get a third? Yes, he can. Of course he can. It's Hyber. But he's now going to be in trouble. Finally, these two can find some reply shots, but he's got some good cover. Message turns the turret, takes down the tier 1. Sensei receives a little bit of Hyber's, but now can Hyber stay alive? He's got 3 tanks fairly near to him. He needs the likes of Veko to make sure he's covered off. Veko is watching the push around the side here, and this is what it comes down to. Can this move be executed very well from the Leprechauns, or has Kazna crew already got their number?
They've already done a lot of damage. Message down to 283. We've seen this tactic plenty of times before, and honestly, when you receive so much damage at the beginning, it's very hard for the team to manage to get themselves in the best position. But those T-32s are rotating off the hill, starting to put their attention onto that hill, and really, if they can get it, they push Drooling Leprechauns from really their prime position, the position that keeps Sensei Message alive.
Yeah, but Yuhu did just spot out Elian, so at least they've got some sort of idea where these T-32s are, and actually it's going to be Sensei Message in severe trouble. They can't go forward because Veko's there, they can't go backwards because, well, Elian's there, and they're stuck between a rock and a very hard place. But Elian is pushing up a little here, he's looking for a way through. 5 minutes and 43 seconds left. Where's that engagement going to come down?
I think towards the middle. I don't think anything from Drooling Leprechauns can actually deal with Elian and Crux and the T-32. Only thing that can keep them at bay is going to be Snake Guy Finn, because he is in a T-32 his own. Sensei receives another shell. That was probably from Elian in the middle, I believe. Maybe Veko from behind. Probably Veko from behind. Actually takes out his turret as well, so not going to be blowing a repair kit on that. Obviously, the turret repairs itself, just you have a little bit of a slower traverse, which might make a big difference in that firefight. But at the moment, Kazna crew are definitely in the driving seat. They have the HP, maybe even going to start getting the positions, but they need to make it work.
Yeah, but has Elian got a little bit too confident? He's kind of ignoring the fact that Snake Guy Finn and Jack are both up on this platform, and he could be caught out here. Very confident play from Elian, but maybe slightly hap-handed as well. And as you can see, Snake Guy Finn will peer around, get the first shell off, gets the second, and none replied in so far. And there's Jack peering up, getting one for himself. Not going to connect that, though, but a little bit hap-handed there, I feel, from Elian.
Yeah, good play by Drooling Leprechauns to slant the HP back in their favor a little bit. Good play by Snake Guy Finn as well. He just puts his track out so he only doesn't take any damage, and Jack does the first few shots, distracting Kazna a little bit, and Crooks receives another big shell there. That was 210 damage, so I'm wondering if he's using the 90mm. No, he's not. He's using the 105mm. Just gets extremely low roll there. Jack doesn't. 226 coming off Crooks.
Yeah, indeed. No, credit where it's due. These two in the middle have pretty much saved Sensei and Message. Elian and Crooks both taking a lot of damage. German Bray is there in the 1390, but as we now know, they can't fully get up this hill to support the others, and maybe there's a chink in the armor there. Maybe that's enough for Sensei and Veko to start making a move, and you know, it's going to be Sensei making a move towards Veko, should I say, as Hyber is actually caught out. If these two make a move through, he could be in trouble, and here we go. The cover is there, though. Crux holds it down. Veko comes around the side. Veko needs to land this shell pretty fast. Hyber's in trouble. Hyber does have these guys surrounded. Perfect play in the end. They take down Sensei, but can they find Message, or is it a little bit too little too late now? Message has Muppety with him. Muppety coming across. You can see the shells landing from across the river, but will they go for this commitment?
Muppety protecting Message very well there, but Hyber's there and takes him out, and Muppety left on his own.
Hyber knows this all too well. Muppety now falling into the trap, and Hyber comes around on the side, gets the first shell. Veko probably come in with the second. There it is. And Veko might get taken down here, but still, Hyber in a world of trouble originally, but got dug out of it by his teammates, and now Muppety feeling the pain of the rest of it. One more shell will do the job here as Veko goes over to support the rest, as the others are engaging towards the center of the map as well. A bit of a hot pursuit going on there.
Oh my god, Snake Guy Finn just misses that shell against German Bray. That could be disastrous, although it is almost game over here for Drooling Leprechauns. They have to try and do some consequence here. Elian's on the charge though.
Yeah, Elian coming around the side there. Crux joining in. German Bray was in trouble, but now Crux and Elian, bit of a rescue squad coming around the side. Crux should land the shell, and there we have it. And Muppety obviously went down to Hyber elsewhere. And now Count and Juhu just need to be found.
2 minutes and 21 seconds to find these two tier 1s, and I think that's plenty of time for Kazna crew, as one has already been found. The second one is not too far away in the cap, so at least Juhu, Count even, will go down for the count, and only Juhu left.
Yeah, not a great deal. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He has Veko on one side, German Brait on the other, and if he escapes this, it'll be a miracle if I've ever seen one. But there we go, he will pop up on the radar, and surely Veko's going to land this one. Misses it the first time. There's a lot more shells ready and waiting for this poor little tier 1 trying to make a dash for it. But there we go. Veko will land the final shot, and Kazna crew pick up the victory finally after that 5th and final map at a 2-1 scoreline. I'm
surprised that they managed to actually come up with an offensive tactic, but then again, Drooling Leprechauns took it to Kazna crew. I think it does come down to that tank pick. The WZ-132, great for the initial engagement onto the hill, but what you do after that, it doesn't have the damage. 1050 HP, only 50 left in the MX-1390, but also slightly bigger, slightly easier to hit, so that allowed Hyber to hit a couple more shots. A little bit short-sighted to push onto Hyber. Good play by him. I think he was my man of the match for that one. And altogether, I think Kazna crew deserved that win. Drooling Leprechauns very impressive for such a new team, but a couple of mistakes here and there allowed Kazna crew to be the more decisive team.
Yeah, I think even looking back towards Himmelsdorf and a couple of other maps that were very decisive towards that fact, I think there's a lot to be learned by the Leprechauns, and to be fair to Kazna crew, they're just looking like they're really improving themselves game day to game day. I think there's certainly a team that can be at the very top very soon, and I can't wait to see them playing like the likes of TCM or so on the very kind of top echelons overall. But I think we should recap all of the scores today. Obviously, guys, if you are just kind of catching the end of it, the first game we did have Lucky Karaki up against Evil Panda Squad. And I want to kind of look back at that and think, what happened to Lucky Karaki? That was not the team I expected to see today.
Yeah, Lucky Karaki have been absolutely on point up to that point against Evil Panda Squad, and then they slipped a little bit and gave it to Evil Panda Squad in 1-0. So I have to say, Lucky Karaki are definitely need to go back to the drawing board against some of the teams that play similar play style. Against teams that don't play the same as them, they're very good because they can kind of dictate the pace of play. But when Evil Panda Squad is playing slowly and being methodical, then it really does come down to who can do it better. And at the end of the day, that's the more experienced team, EPS.
Definitely. And then following that, obviously, C-Play up against TCM. Very close game, to be fair to C-Play. Certainly showing a lot of potential once again. I just want those guys to get a victory under their belt more than anything. But TCM did clinch it in the end with some great play, but there were some very close moments. It
was extraordinarily the closest game. My game of the day indeed turned out to be the real cracker. At the end of the day, TCM's experience coming into fruition. And again, C-Play are coming so close. They really, really are. They're just making one small error, you know, and that's where experience comes in. TCM, they'll go forwards, they'll commit, they'll make the right decision, but then they'll commit to that decision, where C-Play is kind of in between and going back and forwards again. And once they got that over that hurdle and maybe some communication errors, they're going to be absolutely fantastic. They've got the hard teams out of the way. I think they should have beaten EPS. TCM, always going to be a hard team to beat. Certainly not School Bus and Virtus Pro, but yeah, I'm just looking forward to them to getting their first win. I think that might set them off in the right direction.
I really do hope so. And obviously the final match we just witnessed, Kazna crew looking very good, I think is the best way we can put it. The Leprechauns not far away, but a couple of steps behind the Kazna crew, I feel.
Kazna crew 2-1 in the end, managing to prove themselves on both Himmelsdorf, which is a map you would expect them to pick up, and finally Mines with just some, well, better positions, Hyber really being the one to do it there. But Drooling Leprechauns, as I said before, such a new team, so much promise. Muppety doing a great job, former Spaller player, really pushing that one forwards. And you've got to remember, Muppety was in TCM Gaming, Oda Morse at one point. Didn't actually do so well for that team, but when he gets his own, and then obviously all Finnish guys, all very high skill players, he can really form them and meld them into the team that is Drooling Leprechauns, a top team for this season for sure.
So, some great games overall today, guys. Obviously, once again, make sure you go towards Facebook and Twitter and let us know how you think the day went. Who was your standout player and what was your standout game of the day? Obviously, Ollie went for the second one and it actually did turn out to probably be the best game of the day. Sadly for me, Lucky Karaki didn't quite turn up to my expectations. They kind of, I don't know, shied away a little from the attention, sadly. But still, if you have enjoyed today's Playday and you want some more World of Tanks action, make sure you follow this channel on Twitch TV. You can see the follow button right down below there. Just go and follow that one. You'll get an email as soon as we go live. Or if you've got a good memory, unlike myself, you can head over to this page on Thursday at the same time, about 7 in CEST, I think it is now. Yeah, CEST, and just watch us go live. Or just follow the Twitter and the Facebook. Both will let you know when we go live as well. So several ways for you to be notified. Make sure you do, because I'd love to see you guys here again, because we've had a great time, and I hope you have as well.